It's time to shine with Kendall Lanise, transformational life coach, author, and speaker. This is a show where the spotlight shines on people, topics, and subjects that are honest, real, and relevant to you. Be ready to be educated, elevated, and entertained. Here's your host, Lady Motivator herself, Kendall Lanise. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is Wednesday and it's time to shine with me. I'm so glad that you decided to spend your Wednesday with me. It is hump day and we are humping around. I'm so excited about this show today because it's all about women bosses. And it's going to be a 4-week series about women bosses, just women entrepreneurs, women who have gone out there to make their dreams come true. I think it's important to inspire other women to think bigger than your circle, bigger than your circumstance. So that's what we're going to be talking about. But before I go into that, I will be right back with this week's Life Note. All right, it's time for this week's Life Note. All right, if this is your first time tuning in to Shine, once again, welcome. I'm here every Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, so the Life Note is a quote that I say in the beginning of the show, and it applies to the show's topic, and it will carry you through the rest of the show. It will carry you through this evening, tomorrow, next week, and hopefully the rest of your life. So, this quote is by Queen Bee, Beyonce. If there's one thing I'm willing to bet on, it's myself. The quote, Life Note. If there's one thing I'm willing to bet on, it's myself. That is this week's Life Note. So again, I said I'm starting a series on Shine. It's going to be a 4-week series, and I want to spotlight women business owners. I've done this before with both men and women together, but this is a series that I'm passionate about, and is special to me, obviously, because I'm a woman boss, and I like to inspire everybody, and particularly women. A lot of women think, when you think of a boss, sometimes you think of a man, because that's how it's been structured, that's how it's been set up over the years. But now more and more women are beginning to have their own businesses. They're their own bosses. They employ people. They give other people a shot. So about this week's guest, it is Sheneè Woodson. I'm going to read her bio to you because she's an awesome business owner. Sheneè Woodson is a student studying psychology with a concentration in Christian counseling. As a devoted mother and ordained minister, Woodson does not take her role in the body of Christ lightly. Her experience in music, promotions, and public relations led her to start her own business, His Favor Ministries, LLC. Under that umbrella, she is the founder and editor-in-chief of His Favor magazine, a national Christian publication that highlights artists, authors, businesses, and ministries. This magazine will then branch off to 2 other magazines, His Favor Teen and a Spanish magazine called Revista Cristiana Su Favor. Its motto is where diversity is celebrated. She's also working on her first book, The Ministries of Me. That is her first book. All right, Miss Sheneè, Shine audience, please welcome Sheneè Woodson.
Hello.
Hello, Sheneè. Welcome to Shine.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Great.
Wonderful. Thank you for being the first woman I spotlight on this show, as far as this series, I should say. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you so much. I am excited because I'm just sitting here after you were reading the bio. I said, wow, that is me.
You
I
like,
read it as often as I should.
Right, you're like, I'm pretty awesome. I did all that. I'm doing that. No wonder I'm on shining. Absolutely. And it's so funny because that's another quote. It leads me to this other quote, and I find that interesting. That quote is, work until you no longer need to introduce yourself. That's a little bonus life note. And that's what it is because, right, isn't that's deep. When you think about that, work until you no longer need to introduce yourself. And when other people introduce you, and like you just said, you forgot, like, oh, shoot, that's me. I believe in allowing other people to speak for you and to sing your praises. I think if you do the work and you make your dreams come true and you're helping other people and you're doing it the right way, then other people will sing your praises. And I think it's important for us to celebrate the accomplishments. So in just reading your bio, you know, it has your chest. Hopefully it has your chest poked out a little bit like, wow, you know, I've been blessed to be able to do all of that.
Exactly. And no pun intended, but yes, it has exactly been his favor.
Yes.
Definitely his favor.
And his favor ministry. So let's jump right into that. So you are owner, as I stated, of His Favor Ministries, LLC. Tell me how you got started with that. I clearly know the name and why you decided to name it that. But let's talk about that. How was that journey like for you? How did you start that?
Well, I actually had another magazine prior, and with the direction of the magazine, it wasn't really fitting the name. And I was sitting one day, and I kept hearing change the name over and over again. I'm like, change your name, and the person I was with at the time was saying, you know, I don't think it's wise that you change it because the other magazine was starting to get, you know, some buzz. And they were stating that, you know, with branding and everything, it would probably been too late to do so. But I kept hearing over and over again, change. And I said, okay, God, okay, I'm listening to this person, but I hear you as well. And, you know, obedience is better than sacrifice, and that's something I had to learn. Whether, you know, others may not agree with you or not, or they may think you're crazy, God knows what he's doing. And once I changed the name to His Favor Magazine, I mean, it just was like, everything just changed. I started getting more well-known cover features, and it just took off from there. And afterwards, it was laid on my heart for a long time, even prior to talking to someone about it. I said, hey, I want to do a teen magazine because when I was growing up, I had such a love for Christ, and I was in the teen ministry. I was a youth leader. I was on a praise team at 14 years old. I played the piano and everything, and I see all these young people where you see all this potential, but there's no one encouraging them. Or the ones that are doing things, people aren't spotlighting them because of all the negative things that's going on. They keep spotlighting the negative things instead of the positive things. So I said, you know, I want to be a part of the people that are, you know, promoting these young people and highlighting them. So it laid in my heart to start the team. And the launch was actually just last month. And then on May 14th, we're going to be launching Revista Cristiana Su Favor, which is the Spanish version of His Favor magazine. And I'm just super excited at just the fact that I'm just learning through the process of how important being obedient is, not just as a business owner, but as a person, period, just in this walk with Christ, how important obedience and just listening to Him and letting Him take over. And then, you know, it's everything will take off from there. I mean, it's just amazing how His favor has come about in just a little over 2 years.
Right. And that is amazing. And when you're walking in your purpose and like you said, you are obedient to God's voice and what He's trying to tell you, He will make it work out for you because you are being obedient. I got a chance to meet Sheneè. We sat next to each other and we're talking like old friends at the at the Speak Life tour award. So shout out, Catherine, if you are listening. But yeah, and then you were telling me about your magazine then, and I thought that was pretty awesome because now, a lot of people are still buying magazines and reading magazines, and there are a lot of different online magazines. I've been featured in those as well. Mm-hmm. But back in the day, like to buy a magazine that said something, that I was all for that. Like I was a faithful buyer of magazines and supported the magazine business. And just always, unfortunately there weren't like a lot of Christian magazines when I was growing up, but I did like Jet, Ebony, Essence, Right On, Black Beat, because I wanted to see myself. I wanted to relate to a magazine. So when you're talking about your magazine, His Favor Ministry, who are you relating to? Because you have 3 versions, and you're about to have a 3rd version. So what are you trying to reveal to the audience when they're reading your magazine? They pick up your magazine. What are you trying to tell them?
Well, the motto for His Favor is actually where the diversity is celebrated. Mm-hmm. And a friend and I was talking not too long ago, actually over brunch, how on Sundays, it is the most segregated time on Sundays. And being a Black woman myself, at first I have been told, maybe I should do all Black women's magazine or all women's magazine, and I wasn't hearing that. And I have plenty of people that I know that have, all women's magazines or all Black magazine cater to that, and that's fine, but I had to stick with what God had told me. And the reason why is because growing up, I've always been to multicultural churches. Mm-hmm. Even in high school, I was at a multiracial high school, and I just felt that people just need to celebrate the differences within the church. Mm-hmm. And that's how His Favor came about. And even with the teen ones, even with the Spanish, even though it's a Spanish version magazine, I'm still going to feature other races in that magazine, but the content will be in Spanish.
What made you do one? What made you want to do a Spanish? I understand multicultural, trying to hit everybody, to try to bring everybody into Christ and what the movement is about, and to love thy neighbor and respect our differences. But what made you decide to do a Spanish one in particularly?
In particular, it's because, one, I know that where a lot of Spanish-speaking people are in America. Mm-hmm. And as I was sitting out listening to my daughter, she kept telling me, "Mommy, I'm going to learn Spanish because people in my class are speaking Spanish, and I want to be able to, I can talk to them." And she kept saying, "Hola, hola, hola," over and over again. And I sat there and said, okay, I know in my heart I want to do this, but how would I go about doing this? And someone actually approached me about, turning one of the issues into, bilingual. And I said, well, why don't I just do a Spanish one and then still give people an opportunity to reach Spanish-speaking people? Like you could be in a Spanish issue.
I think that's awesome.
Even though you're not, your background is not Hispanic.
How you know? How you know, Sheneè? How you know? You can't judge a book by its cover. How you know? No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
Trying to put me out
right.
Anyway.
I'm just teasing.
But yes, it gives a more range for the gospel to get taken out. Who knows? Maybe next a French one, and everything's just coming to my head as I go along and as God is leading.
Right.
But the reason for the Spanish one, like I said, is offering another platform where the gospel can be heard, where maybe an artist who is in Texas, want to reach that market, they have an opportunity to do so because their content will be in Spanish.
Right. I think it's awesome that you had the courage to do that. In spite of what you were hearing and in spite of what other people were telling you to do, saying, well, first starting with you shouldn't change the name And then, well, why are you doing a multicultural magazine? Why not just with women, or why not just with Black women or Black people? And then Spanish, what are you doing? You're not even Spanish speaking. Why are you doing that magazine? So tell me how important it is for you. I know you talked about obedience, but staying true to who you are and staying true to your vision. Is that difficult for you to do?
At first it was, because I was the type of person who, I will admit, and since we're being open, I was a people pleaser.
Mm-hmm.
And I found myself realizing one day that no matter what I did, somebody wasn't going to be happy. So why not the person who deserved to be happy be me? You know, and be happy with what God told me to be, and be pleased in doing what I need to do in His will. So once I realized that, it became a lot easier for me to, step out on faith. It became a lot easier for me to put things out there that maybe be out the norm for others, or not focus on, if I put something on, even on social media, and doesn't get a lot of likes or doesn't get a lot of attention that I think it does. Because come to find out, it's a lot of people that may not click that like button or that love. Well, now we got the like, the love, the sad button, all that stuff.
But they're listening. They're still looking.
Yeah, they're listening. Mm-hmm. I've been to places and restaurants, malls, just out in general. And, hey, I know you're, I'm like, oh, you do? Oh, yeah, I see all the stuff you're doing. Great job. God is blessing. I'm like, oh, wow. But you'll never get that, that feedback.
I get that, too.
Just do what you, just do
That's
you.
Right. That's
just
right.
Do you. Somebody's paying attention, and eventually the right people are paying attention, too.
Absolutely.
Because even the people that have supported me, I mean, some of them are not even in the Baltimore, D.C., Maryland, Virginia area at all.
Yeah.
I mean, they're across California and Tennessee. I mean, my graphic artist, she's in Tennessee.
Right. And you're based out of... Amazing. And I'm
based in Baltimore.
And you're based in Baltimore, and you're reaching, like you said, your graphic artist is in Tennessee. And I think that's the positive thing about the world that we're living in right now. And with social media and, internet and web, just being able to be accessible. You're accessible everywhere, all across this country. Mm-hmm. And that's a powerful message. So that's why I always try to encourage people to be positive, stand in your truth, inspire, help other people. You never know what people are seeing, because everybody is watching. And like you said, you got to have that right person watching, even if it's one person's life. And it sounds so cliche, but it's true. Even if you change the course of just one person's life, then you know that you're doing what you're supposed to do. And the money, the likes, the fame, all of that will come if that's your purpose, or if that's what's intended for you. All right. So this series, as you heard, is all about women bosses, and you are a woman boss. Tell me what that means to you when you hear those words together.
When I hear woman boss, to me, it's a woman that stands on her own. It isn't all about the fact that, just being a leader, but, just standing on her own, and like you said earlier, being able to take on things without hesitation, and being able to step out on faith. That's what I think of when I hear the word woman boss, and owning who she is. Because you can't be a boss, leader, or any type of lead position, and you don't know who you are, because then that's when people will trample all over you and be able to manipulate you to go this way and that way, but it's standing your ground and knowing your truth.
Right.
And like I said, I just embraced that not too long ago. And once I did, then, like I said, I'm just like in awe at Sheneè right now. When I look in the mirror, I'm in awe at her.
Yeah, wow.
Like, wow, she has come a very long way.
That's awesome. That's awesome. We're going to take a quick break. And when I say quick, I mean quick. And we're going to come back with Sheneè. And she's going to talk about to leave your job or to stay at your job when you're trying to pursue an entrepreneurial business and trying to be an entrepreneur. Are you to stay at your job, or are you to leave, or can you do both? We'll be right back. Thank you for shining with me, Kendall Denise. If you're here for the very first time, Thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe to the show and don't forget to tell your friends and family about Shine. We'll be right back. All right, as I told you, it was a quick break. All right, Miss Sheneè. So, little off the show, prior to the show started, we talked about your job and you loving your job.
Yeah.
And I thought it was important to bring that to our audience today. Because a lot of people think if you are on your journey and on your path to being a business owner, to being an entrepreneur, that you have to leap out on faith and you have to starve, you have to sleep in your car, you have to quit your job, and you have to go for your dreams because that's what everyone says you have to do. But let's talk about actually working a full-time job and still being an entrepreneur, still being a woman boss. Talk about that process for you. Are you working full-time? Tell our audience about that.
I am working full-time. Mm-hmm. Actually, when I get off this interview, I have to get some rest because I have to travel in the morning to teach a class. I work for the state of Maryland, and I'm a trainer, and I love my job. A lot of times people think, oh, she has a magazine, she does this. There's no way she works. Sheneè works. I work. I have an everyday Monday through Friday job, and I love it. And I do hear people a lot of times saying, if you really want to do this, quit your job and go ahead. God will provide. Well, this is God's. Maybe this might be God's way of providing for me. Mm-hmm. So, because sometimes your job will help you, and when it comes to financing your dream,
it fortifies your dream. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And a lot of times I feel, even though God may give you a vision, everybody doesn't have that vision to stop everything they're doing to pursue that. Because sometimes we still need people in the fields. We still need, people that are, especially us as believers. If all of us are out here being entrepreneurs and having Christian businesses, so what about the rest of the world?
Right.
Like when I go out to my classes, every class I always have somebody at the end asking me, what church I go to. I let my light shine. I don't always say that, everything I do outside of the state that I work, I work for the state of Maryland. I don't say everything, but my light shines. And we still need to be in the workforce. So if all of us are leaving and starting Christian businesses and doing anything, then where's the light going to be?
Right.
So that's another reason why I don't think, everybody is called. And then you get some people, point. They step out on faith prematurely, and then they're frustrated.
Mm-hmm. And maybe not have medical insurance. Let's talk about that.
Exactly. The benefits. You got to think about that. All that comes into play when you say, hey, I'm going to step out on faith.
Right.
You might need, as soon as you step out, you might trip and fall and hurt yourself.
Right.
And go to the doctor.
Right. And also,
like, oh, man, I don't have no benefits.
Absolutely. And also, we talked about your job fortifying your dreams. And I always instruct people to, hey, just stay at your job. That might be what you're called to do at the moment. And when it's time to move, God will push you. You'll know when it's time. But you're there for a purpose. You're there for a reason. And sometimes you think that reason might be to get money, get that check. And it could be to shine your light on someone who needs your light, who is in the darkness right now. Or that word, that smile, that hug, something that you may be able to provide someone at your workplace. But God will let you know when it's time to go. And until then, sometimes we just have to stand still and wait for God to move us.
Yes.
Amen.
and I'm using this as an example because I've seen someone do this. As soon as, they said, I'm going to do this I'm going to go all out and do ministry, start my ministry, quit their job. Had 2-3 degrees. And do you know what? They right back working again.
Right.
And then it makes them look crazy because they said, oh, I know God called me to do this. Right. And I need to stop. And then what happens to your witness?
Right.
If somebody, so you have to be mindful of all
that's
that.
A good point.
If that's something God tells you to do, I say pray and fast and make sure because if he tells you to quit your job, then you know that he's going to provide everything for you in order to do so. He's
Right.
going to take care of you because he knows you're following the vision.
Right.
So I learned from watching someone else do that, and I said, oh my God, and now they're working again and loving their life again. And I'm like, what happened to, it makes you, as a Christian, I think it hurts your witness too.
Right.
So I think you have to be very mindful and very, very careful when making those big moves like
right.
that.
So let's talk. So some of our listeners, they might be of different religions, different backgrounds, different paths. So let's talk about being a business owner to those who might not read your Christian magazine and say, hey, I'm not a Christian, I'm not going to read that. Or, they might just shy away from that because they don't want to be hit in the head with Christianity or religion, or maybe they're just not there yet. But they want to start their own business, and it may not be a Christian business. What advice would you give a woman that just wants to start her own business and she doesn't know where to start?
I would say first, research and really know the business that you're trying to start. A lot of times people see things and say, oh, I want to start that. Ensure that's something that you really want to invest in. And I highly, highly recommend getting a mentor. Someone who's been there, done that, has succeeded. And I said that with such emphasis.
Right.
Has succeeded
Right.
in that business and is willing to, at least walk you halfway. A lot of times, a lot of mentors, they'll give you tips, may not give you everything, but at least get you, started off.
And they're a resource. They're a resource for you.
Yeah, exactly. And don't try to do everything on your own. And that's why I learned that the hard way. And that's not even just being, Christian business and stuff. I want to do I can do this, I can do that, and then I end up getting so burned out. So
that one-man band, because I do a lot of things as a one-man band, so I get it.
It's okay to solicit help.
Yeah.
And to seek advice.
Yeah.
And I would even say, as far as legal things, make sure you're set with that. Make sure your things are copywritten. Make sure your business is taken care of. Tax, all that comes into play. And that's not just quote unquote Christian stuff. That's just real world. Yeah. Get my stuff in order.
Yeah. Decide what type of business, LLC like yours, or sole proprietorship. Or corporation.
Exactly.
Yeah, you want to consult, and a lot of lawyers will give you an hour or 30 minutes of free advice. Right, exactly. Exactly. And there's this amazing podcast for you guys, and it's called Ink Secure, like Insecure. It's Ink Secure, and you can find it where all podcasts are played. And it's really great. It's a African-American woman, and she gives free legal advice. She'll say, of course, she's not your lawyer, so you can't say, well, my attorney, from that. So, of course, that disclaimer. But she gives a lot of great business advice from a legal standpoint, because, like I said, she is an attorney. So I think it's important, even if you can't necessarily get to a lawyer, educate yourself about starting a business, what you have to do, what are the do's and don'ts, because you don't want to go into anything blindly and you have no clue what's going on, because that's a quick way to lose all your money and lose your business, lose your credibility and all of that. So make sure you research your business and the field you're in before you just jump out there.
And see what other people are doing.
Exactly.
Like when it comes, for me, magazines, how can I say this? I'm not arrogant. However, I look at magazines that are successful. And I kind of say, okay, well, what are they doing? What do I need to do? Not in the role of actually trying to compete, but to know, like you said, the do's and don'ts. Because if they are already successful, that means they've been through all that.
Right.
And I'm trying to get to that level too.
That's right.
So what are they doing that I might need to, maybe pick up from and tweak it a little bit to make it my own? All those things too. So I research, like you said, get a mentor and handle your business as far as legal things are concerned.
So what were thank you, that was great advice. So what were some of the pitfalls that you ran into trying to just start your own business, start your own magazine? What were some of the pitfalls?
Some of the pitfalls was doing exactly the opposite of what I just said. Trying to
and
do
that's
things
real.
on my own.
That's real.
Yes. Trying to do things on my own. And one, I had an issue with trust.
Mm-hmm.
So someone said, hey, I want to be a part. I'm like, that I had to learn that, to use discernment and to actually, be able to say, hey, okay, yeah, I trust this person to do the covers. I trust this person to be a writer. I trust this person to be able to give them my password so they can post on my behalf. Things like that. So,
and that does take trust. That does take trust, especially when it's your baby and it's your image and it's your, it's your likeness, if you will. Because they're going to think it's you if somebody is posted on your behalf. So you do have to be able to trust someone. So that's a good point, because as you're growing into business, like you said, you can't do everything. So you have to delegate. You have to hire people to do certain jobs. And that does take trust.
Yes, it does.
And sometimes when it's yours, you want to be like, oh, mine. Right. You want to be like, oh, mine. But you do need someone. So you said someone controls your Instagram, so they post for you?
Yes, when I can, they just do His Favor magazine page right now.
Yeah.
So like I said, it's baby steps for me, and like I said, it'll happen in due time. Maybe I'll give them the next magazine, the next one, but that took a huge step for me just to do that.
Yeah.
And so far, I mean, if you look at the His Favor magazine Instagram, it's doing pretty well.
Yeah.
So I have to give the person kudos. But like I said, another pitfall too was listening to the wrong people. Like some might be successful in one market, which is good. They may give you some great advice, but they may not know the ins and outs of the market that you're in. Mm-hmm. And that's what I had to learn. I was listening to, well, this person is successful in this area, but when they would giving me advice, it was like, then when I follow it and it didn't fall through, I'm like, wait a minute, that's what they said. But you have to remember too, that's for that particular market. Yeah. So you have to be mindful of that too, as well, because everything doesn't work for every situation.
Yeah. So let's talk about persistence. I often talk about persistence. I have a daily blog on my website, and one of the entries, it was called persistence. So some people look at persistence as worrisome. Oh, you don't want to, you're being too aggressive, or maybe you need to pull back a little bit, or if they said no to you once, then that's enough. But talk about persistence when it comes to being successful and going after your dreams. How important do you think persistence is? And what is that? When you hear that, what do you think of that word?
I think of never giving up. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I say that, because I can name 8 million times I've sat in front of my laptop, I've sat in front of my desktop, in front of my phone, saying, I'm done with this. Like, I'm really done. And then I sit there and think, like, yeah, but you got this far. Mm-hmm. What if you keep going to see how much further you can go? Why would you stop now? And then I've had other people, why have to just telling me, say, why would you quit now? You're like right there. And like, yeah, but I'm done this. I'm done. So I think persistence is just knowing that it's something more. It's something more. Like, I have to keep going just to see, like, what else is there. Because I think if you stop, you'll never know what else could have happened if you just, maybe kept going another week or another month or another year. And just like I said, it's just knowing that there's something more. And a lot of times, a lot of people aren't persistent because they don't feel like they either feel that they reached a certain level and they're done, so they don't strive as hard as they maybe did in the beginning, or they just feel like things are falling apart, so they just, that's it. But persistence means you also got to have some strength. You got to have some deep strength.
Right.
And be able to get through the tears. Even when I wrote my book, like, it was a moment in my book that I stopped, and my mentor actually told me, keep writing through the tears. Just keep going. And a lot of times, even in my classes that I work for with the state, when people in the class, I do speaking like a pro. And one thing I told the lady, she stopped in the middle of the speech and said, I can't do this no more. I said, no, keep going. Keep going. You have to go through to get to. And she looked at me and said, wow. I said, yes, you will never be able to get to anything unless you go through it. So to me, that's what persistence is. Get through it so you can get to it.
Absolutely. And it's about just digging deeper, going further. You got to keep going. If you want to accomplish anything, you got to keep going. You got to be persistent. A lot of people say, well, I chase after my dreams. And I say, nope, you got to run after them and you have to chase them down. Sometimes you just got to do that. You got to be persistent about what you want. All right. So you talked about your book. So let's talk about it. Tell the people what your book, is titled. I know I talked about it in your intro, but let's talk about what it is, what it's entitled, and what are you saying in the pages of that book?
The mini-series of me is actually 2 years old. However, due to a recent status change in my life, I'm going to relaunch it under my maiden name, which will be at the end of, probably in the middle of May. The mini-series of me are basically short stories based on my life. They're fictional, so of course names are changed. Some of the
to protect the guilty,
protect people, protect myself, protect my family,
right? Absolutely.
As well, to an extent, because I really felt that it needed to come out. My story needed to come out in the way that I needed to tell it. I love creative writing. When I was younger, I always wrote stories. So I was like, I didn't want it to be a bio because that's not me. So I said, well, how can I share my journey? How can I share my testimony and still be true? Like I said, being true to myself. And I just said, you love writing, you're a creative writer. I said, okay, fiction, it is. Boom, that's where it came from. So it's 6 short stories, and it's put like this. I am a Christian writer, but some things that a Christian might say, wait a minute, but it's my truth.
Right, and that's what it's about. Yeah. And it's funny.
So some things are a little graphic, so it's not for kids.
Yeah.
But yeah, stuff I went through.
Right, because that's your life, and that is your testimony, and that was your journey, and someone else definitely can relate to that. As you talked about creative writing, I've been writing since I was a child too. And this is for all you people out there, everyone listening. If you want to write your own book, I'm teaching a workshop June 1st. You can go to livingtruelivingyou.com for more information about me. But it's So You Want to Write a Book. It's about it's for new writers, new authors. If you want to write a book, a lot of people come up to me, oh, I have a book in me. I want to write a book. What should I do? So this is a wonderful workshop. You can get your information and your tickets on Eventbrite, or you can always hit me up on livingtruelivingyou.com or livingtruelivingyou at gmail.com. But again, it is June 1st. It's in Catonsville, Maryland. It's from 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. And the tickets for the workshop are $25. So to invest $25 in your dream of writing a book and turning that into reality, it's all about getting published and getting moving. So I'm excited about that because I like to push other women, other people into their dream. A lot of people are afraid to go after their dream, as Sheneè and I talked about. So I'm here to help you win. If you want to write a book, doggone it, I'm going to help you write that book. And that's what it's about, because I'm an author, Sheneè's an author, and that doesn't make us special, because you can be in that same special atmosphere that people always talk about. Oh, you're a book writer. Oh, you're an author. Oh, I always wanted to do that. Well, now you can. Check that out. And if you know someone, Sheneè, let them know about that. It's going to be an awesome time. I'm currently doing one-on-one. I'm currently doing one-on-one book coaching with an author now. And she's never written before. And like you, she has a story to tell about her life. So I'm helping her doing one-on-one coaching for that. So I'm excited about that, as I'm excited to read your book. I got to get that. So, all right. So we're approaching the end of the show. And Sheneè, what type of advice would you give anyone out there, male, female, any religion, any cultural background? What advice would you give that person that's saying, you know what, my feet won't move. I'm afraid. I don't know where to start. I don't know if I could start this business. What would you tell them if they came to you and said that?
I would tell them they're in the perfect space. Being afraid will cause you to do things you don't think you are going to do. And I'm using this as an example, like someone who's being bullied. They're afraid. So what they do, they go up and use things to beat the bully up. Take that fear and use it. See, because I was afraid. Because when I first, I'm going to put it out there, when I first divorced, I was afraid of doing a lot of this on my own because I always had that partner with me. And it made me so much bolder using that fear. A lot of times people, they frown, oh, you're afraid. I say use that fear.
As adrenaline, yeah.
And yes, use it as like you said, it's an adrenaline rush because and then think to yourself, for the people that saying that might be telling you, oh, you're afraid you ain't gonna be able to make it. Prove them wrong. Prove them wrong. Because a lot of times people are afraid because of what people are going to say or how people are going to feel. That's where a lot of people's fear is coming from, or fear of rejection or fear of losing stuff. Prove all that wrong, and when you do, you will feel so great. It's not about gloating. It's just a feeling within yourself. Like, man, I did it. I did it on my own. And like I said, it doesn't matter what religion, your background, anything. Fear, I say use it.
Absolutely.
And just use that fear.
Absolutely. And I want to tell everyone that's listening right now, if you're listening to the sound of my voice, know that you can do it. If you want to start your own business, you can do it. Think about this. What is the worst thing that can happen? It doesn't work? That's the worst thing that can happen. It's not going to kill you. It's going to make you stronger. If it doesn't work, so what? Try it from a different angle. Try something different. Research more. Ask more people to help you. Do something differently. But there's no such thing as failure if you learn from that. It sounds cliche, but I stand true in that. I believe that. And I'm telling you to do that. If you're not successful in your terms, because you decide what successful is and what it's not someone else for you. You decide. So if you feel like you could do it better, or you feel like you have to grow a little bit more and have to relaunch or restart or renew or rebirth, then do that. But don't stop dreaming. And I'm a big advocate on dreaming. You have to continue to dream. The minute you stop dreaming is the minute that you die, and all of your goals and dreams die with that. All right, Sheneè. Well, I thank you so much for joining me on Shine. Thank you for shining with me, everyone. Tell our listeners how they can get in touch with you and how they can look at this magazine, his favorite magazine.
It is very simple. I'm a simple person, so people can find me. It is www.hisfavoritmagazine.com. And anyone listening, if you're in the D.C., Maryland, Virginia area, we're actually having the official launch for His Favorite Ministries on May 31st at Calher Event Hall at 7 p.m. Tickets are $30, and I'm bringing people from Tennessee, Oklahoma, Texas, North Carolina. A lot of people in media are going to be in the room, just celebrating this, just everything that His Favor has accomplished in the past 2 years. We're just having a big celebration. So I invite you to celebrate with us and to network. It's a great networking opportunity because some of these people, individuals are coming. They're broadcasters, and I mean, they're doing some big things in their own right. So it'll be a good good networking opportunity for a lot of people. But again, it's hisfavoritministries.com or hisfavoritmagazine.com.
And she's on with her own name, Sheneè Woodson, and His Favorite Ministries. You can catch her online as well. What, Facebook, Instagram, anywhere else?
Yes, all of it is so many. It's so many.
All right, look, we're running out of time, so just find her there.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to Shine tonight. I'm here every Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks, Sheneè. I appreciate it. God bless.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning in to Shine. Shine airs live every Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For more information about Shine and Kendall and East, visit livingtruelivingyou.com. Remember, it's never too late to remix your life.